Our speaker will be Proud Dzambukira. I hope I also said that one right. He is part of the Facebook Strategic Platforms Partnerships team. Before joining Facebook, Proud was head of business development and software development at All Africa Global Media, a media company. And Proud supports startups and sits on a number of boards, including the board of Sapient Investment, a early-stage South African venture fund. Please join me in welcoming Proud to the stage. Proud, welcome.
Hello. Hello?
Yep.
It's on, right? Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. I'm just waiting for this to load up. Pretty excited to be here. This is the first event of this kind that I've been to in the last 2 years, so a bit rusty, but I'm sure the same applies to everybody here. While they load up the presentation, I'm just going to introduce myself and the team that I represent at Facebook. So, my name is Proud Dzambukira. I sit with the Platform Partnerships team at Facebook. And this is the team that works with any business that's looking to leverage the Facebook platform to build some value for their customers. So we take care of a variety of platform products. My background is software engineering, so I typically work with product teams and help them figure out how the Facebook platform can help deliver value for them. This is taking a long time. Oh. Okay, that's my fault. All right, see, rusty. Yeah, it's coming back now. Anyway, yeah, so I'm here to just share a little bit about how any business, any startup can think about value from Meta. And I should remember to keep on saying Meta and not Facebook. So, in the next 15 minutes or so, sorry, still rusty. All right, okay. Hopefully it will be seamless from now on. In the next 15 minutes or so, I want to talk about how you should think, or you can think of the different opportunities within the Facebook suite of platform products that can enable you to deliver value across the entire set of interactions that you can have with your customers, all the way from acquisition, how you can best convert those customers, as well as strategies for driving retention, as well as re-engagement through our platform. I won't speak to the entire universe of opportunities at Facebook. I only work with the Platform Partnerships team, so if you have questions around things that are outside of that scope, I'm happy to refer you to other people on our team. But what I've identified here are 4 areas that I personally think are pretty exciting, and I know that Facebook is investing or continues to invest a lot, and particularly for growth stage startups, I think that there are products that you should at least evaluate and think about how much value you can get from them. Next. All right, so these are the 4 buckets of products that I'll talk about. I'll start off with talking about Facebook Login, which is our oldest product. I'll talk about stories and the opportunities around stories sharing and the platform that enables that. I'll talk a little about Spark AR and how excited we are about sort of starting to build this next vision of computing and user interactions of the future. And then I'll also talk about business extensions. These are a set of tools that enable any business that works with other businesses to fully take advantage of the Facebook platform. So around Facebook Login, this is our oldest product, like I said. It's something that if you have built any product, you're probably very familiar with what it delivers for you. There's a whole bunch of other providers of login solutions out there, but our solution is pretty unique in the fact that it also enables you to have access to the social graph. So you can better personalize the in-app experience based on your access to people's data directly. As well as enable recommendations, as well as connections with friends through your app experience by not actually recreating the social graph, but using the Facebook social graph directly. So this is a pretty awesome set of tools, right? But what I wanted to highlight today is the fact that we continue to invest in Facebook Login beyond that obvious value. So what it does on its face is authentication and personalization, right? But one of the areas that we continue to think about investing to enable startups to find value with Facebook Login is other down-funnel experiences that can drive additional value, re-engagement, and retention. So, for example, the feature that I'm highlighting here is something that we launched recently, which is Login Connect with Messenger. So what this does is a new permission scope that at Login, you can request people to give you permission to send them a message. And so that gives you access to the means to send them one message within a 24-hour window. And then you also have access to message tags for things like post-purchase order notifications outside of that 24-hour window. So through just one login, click of a button, you can get permission to then deliver additional value for re-engagement and continue to interact with your customer after that authentication experience. There's a video here, I think I should skip it. But yeah, what this can do, and I just wanted to share one result that we've already seen from an online fashion retailer that used this particular feature. What this can do is, an example implementation is that at login you can send a welcome message to the user as well as give them a coupon for them to redeem. That's a way for them to eventually actually use that coupon in order to come and make the purchase. Newsheet used that exact same tactic with Facebook login with Connect to Messenger. And they saw a 2.4x increase in coupon redemption, as well as a 3.4x increase in value, gross merchant value from those people that are using that interaction. So again, what we started with is an authentication solution, which is pretty obvious and straightforward and people know about. But through additional value that we've built into that solution, like Login Connect, you can start to unlock the means to drive conversions and long-term value from your customers. So some additional thought starters for how this feature can be enabled is if you have an app, you can promote app downloads if people authenticate from you on any other surface but your app, right? So you can send them that one-time message to say, hey, did you know that you have this app? You can download it, and so on. You can drive loyalty and rewards through that by just using the coupon or sending tokens to your customers when they authenticate. You can also highlight your bestsellers. When somebody logs in the very first time, you can guide their journey within your app or your product by either highlighting bestsellers or telling them something else that they will get to discover in the long term, but it might be helpful for them to know upfront about your product through that integration. So next, let me talk about story sharing. Everyone in this room has probably interacted with a story today or posted a story today. This has been a pretty revolutionary way of sharing for a lot of people. And through a stories sharing platform, what we have enabled is the means for any app developer to capture an in-app experience into a story that people can then share. So if you're listening to a piece of music on Angame, for example, you have the means through this platform to share that experience with your friends through stories. Before this platform was built, what a lot of people would have to do is to take a screenshot of their experience in an app and then share that. But what that does not give you any control is the actual branding and the design of that experience. With the story sharing platform, you have the means to actually include your brand within the asset and build it out in a way that the user can then just share with their friends. That can drive a lot of organic traffic to your site because people's friends that do that share that experience can then see what's happening within your app. And you can enhance the user experience, but you can also have customized branding that will drive a lot of value in the long term. So if your app is growing, this is a way to sort of build on the hype by enabling people to build an in-app experience that can be shared as a story. Trying to switch on to the next one. I do have an example of a company that implemented this and the kind of results that were driven by it. Can I get some help with moving to the next one? Hello. Oh, there you go. So one example is a fitness app called Muscle Booster. So what Muscle Booster did was to allow people to share the results of their exercise within the in-app experience through a well-designed screen that has, some of the results that the person achieved through an exercise, and they can share that with their friends and family. What they found is that drove 25% higher retention week on week or within a fortnight for the people that tend to share. So this is a very powerful way for people that start to share their fitness journey with their friends to feel committed to seeing that fitness journey through. So it's a pretty powerful way to start to encourage what people do socially to actually reinforce the value that can be driven through your platform through this particular kind of integration. There's also additional ways that value can be delivered through friends and family seeing your fitness journey and therefore also going to sign up for Muscle Booster in order to achieve the same results. I want to talk a little bit about Spark AR. It's no secret that our company has made a very firm commitment to investing in technologies that are what we think is going to be the future of how people interact in the metaverse in the future. Today, you can use Spark Studio, which is a desktop and Windows app that allows you to create effects that you can publish to Instagram and Facebook. So we already have about 600 million interactions with effects on our platform every month. We have about 400,000 unique creators around the world that create effects. Most of the effects that you're probably familiar with are face effects, where people create masks and all kinds of experiences that sort of augment the face and people. But through Spark Studio, we also have the means to do world AR. So you can create AR effects that live in the actual physical world. So instead of using the front-facing camera, you're leveraging the back-facing camera in order to place assets that are digital within the actual physical world. So for example, a 2D target tracking can enable you to convert a 2D target into something that is animated and that comes alive. And this has been sort of done by a lot of people to enable more immersive experiences that can drive a lot of value. So what's the value for this for you as a business? This is a great way to actually use a more interesting visual storytelling format to educate your users about things about your brand. It's also a great way to create more engaging campaigns and to start thinking about the future of your company and your product in the metaverse. If we all admit that this is sort of an inevitable direction that the world is going to get to, this is a platform that actually allows you to start playing around with what AR is about. You can either create effects yourself. It's pretty easy through Spark Studio, or you can retain any of the agencies that are investing quite a lot in building these kinds of experiences for brands. And immediately, right now, one of the things that you can do is to enable conversions through try-on effects. So you might have seen this where if you're trying to buy a pair of sunglasses, you can create an AR effect that can allow you to try on different types of glasses and decide which one you want to buy, and therefore convert virtually without having to walk into a store. The same applies with lipsticks and cosmetic products and so on that you can try on without needing to go through the trouble of actually going to a store to do that. And so this is the metaverse brought to life through a shopping experience that is powered by AR ads that are created through AR Studio, Spark Studio. So that's a pretty great way to start thinking about how to drive growth for your business through augmented reality. The last thing that I want to talk about is business extensions. I actually work with some of the companies represented today, EatApp, Fresher, on this particular set of products. What this does is if you're a B2B company and you have customers that rely on the Facebook family of apps in order to drive value, you can use business extensions in order to enable your customers to seamlessly connect with your business through Facebook. So I'll give you an example of something that is a little bit concrete that we did with EatApp that will sort of illustrate what this product does in terms of all of the benefits that I listed here. So we worked with EatApp, which works with restaurants, has a couple of thousands of restaurants around the Middle East and globally. And they drive reservations to restaurants, right? So their customers are restaurants, and the restaurants have social pages, they have Instagram pages, and so on. And so what EatApp wanted to do was to find a way to enable any restaurant that is signed up with EatApp to turn on a Reserve Now button on Instagram and Facebook through our platform. And so Facebook Business Extensions is a mechanism through which on the EatApp app itself, if you log on, you have a flow that enables you to specify what your assets are, so what your Facebook page is and what your Instagram handle is. And as a restaurant, you can seamlessly turn on that Book Now button or the Reserve Now button through EatApp that then becomes available to all of your customers as a restaurant on Instagram and on Facebook. And so that can drive revenue, obviously, because you get more reservations that way. It can also allow you to scale pretty fast. So if you're entering a new market, instead of investing in trying to find who your restaurant's customers are and sort of how to market to them, you can use that kind of integration to scale pretty rapidly. You can also then deliver additional value to your customers. So one of the things that you can enable through business extensions is to allow any of your customers to specify what their Facebook pixel is. That's a very simple thing that happens during a very simple business login flow that every customer goes through when they're going through all of that. But what then that gives you is the means for all of your customers, in the example of EatApp, all the restaurants have access to who from Facebook and Instagram tends to book restaurant reservations. And through custom audiences, you can do far more effective marketing on Facebook and on Instagram. And so this is something that can drive value for both the restaurants or the customers of an app like EatApp. In the case of Fresher, it'll be any of their customers as well that can see that kind of value in the long term. So I have one more slide, but I think I'm happy to take any questions about any of these topics or anything else if you guys have any. So that's the last slide that just shows you some of the surfaces through which people can discover the experiences that are enabled through Facebook Business Extensions. Thank you very much. Any questions? All right. No questions. All right, go. Thank you.